Hope all is well. Love and light, everyone. Coming from Sosua here with my guy Noel. We have a lot to talk about today, man. It's been a minute. As you guys know, I've been here since last week, but unfortunately, the internet in DR is really choppy. So I haven't been able to upload any content. All right. So I'm gonna have to probably wait till I get back home, to be able to upload all the content that I have. But today I have a special guest, Noel. This brother is doing some big things in Cabarete. He has a big project going on, a pre-construction, and I pretty much wanted to talk to him about all of what he's doing in Dominican Republic. And I'm going to give the floor to Noel and just, give a brief introduction of yourself and what you're doing here in DR.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me on your show. It's a real honor and a pleasure. And to the viewers who are watching, good to see you. He got me working on my birthday. First of all, Dominican Republic. I just got here I came to the Dominican Republic for the first time about 3 years ago, and this was not a part of the plan. Dominican Republic was not part of the plan. Living in the Caribbean really wasn't part of the plan. I was thinking southern United States to escape Canadian winters. I'm from Toronto, Canada. My roots are Trinidad and Guyana. Okay, that's where my parents are from. But I'd come and spend a couple of weeks, but never months, weeks, and years. You know what I mean? In a Caribbean place. But opportunity knocked, and I had attended the Wealth Summit put on by Grant Cardone in Florida, but teaching people how to buy multifamily condos, and he taught us how to underwrite deals. And so that's what I was doing. I was looking at deals in the United States, cash flow, rents, people we were looking for 30 unit, 50 unit apartments, and the group of us would put our money together and buy. That was what we were doing. And then a friend of mine was down here in the Dominican Republic, and he says, "Noel, you got to come down to the DR, bro. The DR is on fire. And the market is growing and it's jumping." And so I was like, "Well, what do you know about the Dominican Republic?" You know what I mean? Because to me, it's like I'm thinking of Banana Republic. You know what I mean? So really, I was like, I said my first word, "Is it safe?" And he said, "Ben, they got Scotia Bank down here, man." And so I would have, under other circumstances, I would have dismissed it, but I missed out on the Jamaica boom because of ignorance. There was a delegation that had come to Toronto talking about buy in Jamaica, get these condos in Jamaica. And I was like, why would I invest in third world when I'm in Canada, in Toronto in particular? Toronto, it was on fire at that time. And, but not realizing that I could have got 2 or 3 properties for the price of one. Wow. You know what I mean? Like this. And ignorance is not bliss, my friends. It's expensive. And so I learned, because those units that were going for 50, 60, 70 grand in Jamaica, when I was in Jamaica, because I was there during COVID, those same units are going for like 225, 250, 275, and now upwards of 400. And that's not including cash flow.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So I was like, okay, let me at least go and check. Let me come to Dominican Republic. Worst case scenario, I'll get a good vacation out of it. You know what I mean? And so I came down, and I did see the prices, and things were jumping, because you remember, because Dominican Republic was the first island to open up in the pandemic, right?
During COVID.
Well, tourism.
I was flying back and forth during COVID.
Well, look, man, tourism is the number one industry.
They
10 million visitors last year. 10 million.
Wow.
They're expecting 11 this year. So so it's the number one tourist destination in the Caribbean. Period. Not Costa Rica, not Jamaica. Dominican Republic. It's the number one tourist destination in the Caribbean by a lot, by far. And so I saw the prices jumping, but that actually made me a little bit more nervous, because when people buy based on hype and you see motion happening and it's moving quickly, hype can die as quickly as it starts. You know what I mean? And so I want to make sure that the fundamentals were there. And so I had this gentleman by the name of Rigo and shout out to Rigo World Realty, a good buddy. He took me. He arranged a meeting for me in the Urban City Planners. And by the way, for any of you who are investing in real estate in any region, the first place you need to go to is City Hall. You need to talk to the Urban City Planners. You need to find out what are the city plans, because you want to know that you've got longevity, that there's and you want to go in alignment with it. Because if you know that a road is coming in or a highway is coming in, or there's the infrastructure plans, if you know what businesses are coming in, the migration patterns and all of that, you like in Canada, is a hockey country, so we say, like Wayne Gretzky would say, you have to go to where the puck is going to be. You got to anticipate where it's headed, and so that's how I made my decision. So I was, and in that meeting, they showed us the city plans for the next 10 years.
Okay.
And so they showed us which areas are expanding, which highways are coming in, and which businesses are coming in, and and that's where I was like, okay, so there's some actual longevity here. Because when I say longevity, I'm talking about between 4 to 6 years. You know what I mean? So that if we need to cash out for whatever reason, we can. We know that from this point now till like 2-3 years in, we have time where if we want to get out, we can. You know what I mean? So I just want to make certain that we have runway.
Okay.
Because you have to understand, like, I had sold all of my properties in Canada because I saw the interest rate hikes coming. I've been following it, and people told me I was crazy. I'm like, interest rates are going to go up. They have to. All this money printing is going on with the central bank. Inflation's going to come. They're going to have to. You know what I mean? And so said, so done. And so I'm sitting there with a bunch of cash, and I'm like, what the hell do I do, right? So I took my money and I talked to my business partners who I was going to be investing in the United States with, and so we were pooling our resources. And I said, look, forget the U.S. Let's come here to the DR. We get way bigger bang for our buck. Our dog's going to go much further, much higher yields, in a shorter period of time. Okay. And so that's how I ended up here.
Nice.
And then so we had looked in. We're in the north coast of the Dominican Republic. So most people, when you all think of the Dominican Republic, you're thinking Punta Cana, which is the east.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this, we're the uppermost north part of the DR, and up here. Totally different energy than Punta Cana. Punta Cana, by the way, it's a beautiful place, but it's a resort town.
Right.
Up here, this is Dominican Republic.
And it's funny. I was going to ask you about the difference between. So you already pretty much answered my question. So go ahead, continue on.
Well, it's a more of again, Punta Cana. You might as well be in North America. You know what I mean? Like you're on a resort, and you're in a tropical place. But with all your own people, you know what I mean. So if you really want to, if you want to come to the country, you know what I mean, and actually meet the people in the country, the North Coast has a combination of Dominicans, expats, or people who are living here from Canada, North America, Europe, whatever. You know what I mean. And also, so you have those people, and you've got. People who are on vacation, tourists. So you've got a blend of everybody in the North Coast, and it's not really a big resort town. It's more they have hotels, and there's a couple all inclusives, but it's not a Punta Cana situation. They're very, very different places, different energy entirely. I love the North Coast, and I think the beaches in the North Coast, I think are way better.
So much better. And we have a lot more to offer over here in terms of beaches, and not just that. I just feel like the North Coast is more cultural. Like you said, this is Dominican.
Yeah. This is Dominican Republic. Yes. So we decided on a piece of land in East Cabarete, because Cabarete. So it goes. For those of you for your geography, you've got Puerto Plata, the province, and then you got Puerto Plata, the city. So you've got New York, and then you got New York City, which is in New York State, right? Like this, but we got Puerto Plata and Puerto Plata, and then beside Puerto Plata, about a half an hour drive to Sosua, where we are right now, and then the Cabarete is about about a 15-20 minute drive, depending on where you're going to. in Cabarete. And the airport up here is POP, or the Puerto Plata Airport. And so one of the things that was important for us is when we were looking at buying is how close is it to the airport? So
that's always a major.
So 20, 25-minute drive, you know what I mean, depending on traffic. So to the airport so from Cabarete. So when we made the decision to buy the land, and just to give you an example of the value here and the value that we're offering people when they're buying with us.
Yeah, and I don't want to cut you off, but guys, I've seen the property, I've seen it myself. I haven't gotten a chance to upload it only because, like I said, the internet here is kind of choppy. That's one of the cons of living in Dominican Republic. But if you are living here permanently, I will always suggest you get high-speed internet, especially if you're doing content creating and working remotely and things of that nature. But so let's pretty much talk about the project. I think it's a great location, to say the least. Right, beachfront, guys, beachfront property. Oh yeah, so go ahead, talk about the project a little bit more.
Yeah, no problem. So I really want for all of you who are investors, take your notepads and pens out, because I'm giving you some gems. Whether you participate with us or not, you can learn a little bit here today. So on how things work here in the DR, because this is not North America; it's a different environment. It's definitely a different environment. So banking is similar, but there's a lot of nuance here.
To say the least, right?
So we bought, just to put things in perspective, we bought our land in 2022. We had it appraised. We bought it for $910,000 US. We had it appraised in 2024. Okay. And it was just under 1.4 million.
Look at that.
You know what I mean? So that's the land alone. That's without permitting. That's without any structure. The land had not been cleared. Okay. So there was the house on the land, because when we bought the land, there was a house on it, which is no longer there. We've cleared the land and all of that, and we're doing grading work now. But so when people talk about, well, is it real? Yeah. Right. So
yeah, with my own eyes.
It's real. And we're very happy with the values, and this is important because the people who are buying with us, like my philosophy in real estate, and I learned this from my friend Sherrard McQueen of M5V Developments back in Toronto. And shout out to Sherrard, he's kicking butt up in Niagara Falls. Yeah, he's got major townhouse complexes over there. We've known each other for like decades, and he started out house flipping, then became a real estate agent, then a broker, now a developer he's crushing it. But one of the things that Sherrard taught me is that you always want to make certain that when people participate with whatever you're doing, that they're making money on the buy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And what does that mean? You're buying below current market price. You know what I mean? And so that means, so when you stroke that pen and you buy, you've made money. So I've never paid market rate ever for any property I've owned. Like back in Toronto, I used to live in Brampton. That's in the north part of Toronto. And the house that I had, when I had bought it, 5 of us bought in the same area together. And so we went to the developer and he said, okay, all of us are going to buy. What kind of a deal are you going to give us? And so they gave us 10% discount on list price. You know what I mean? Like this. And I used that money to finish the basement. You know what I mean? That I rented out. You know what I mean? That created cash flow for me for like 10 years, right? So, so you want to make money on the buy. You want to know that you're buying below market rate. And how can you tell? You have to look at price per square foot. You know what I mean, of what you're buying. And I will tell you this too, for people who are investing throughout the Caribbean. If you ever come out to one of our presentations, which I would invite you to do, to come on out. And if you put in the link, I want the link for the presentation. Jay will send that out to you, and then so you can come and listen and learn. And I will tell you something: it never costs you anything to learn, but it can cost you a lot not to learn.
It's true.
You know, so true. Information and education is free. You know what I mean? Like they say that. And so, you know, and sometimes, you know, we got to get off Netflix and get into the education and the information. You know what I mean? Because the world ain't waiting on any of us. So, man, shoot, lost my train. Oh yeah, making money on the buy.
The Life of Bill says, Cardell said the same thing yesterday. You make your money on the buy.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we're on the same
He's
page.
right.
Yeah, so we're on the same. Yeah, you got to make your money on the buy.
Yeah.
Yes, and so when you compare price per square foot in Jamaica, Costa Rica, Florida, you can't beat the Dominican Republic. You can't. Price per square foot, you can't. And you can't get beachfront in Jamaica. Good luck. You know what I mean? Like that's not getting beachfront in Jamaica. And you know how much you're going to pay for that?
Yeah.
Premium.
Right.
So like this, I'm telling you, DR in the next 10 years it will be at current Miami level prices. That's what they're forecasting. You know, over the next 10 years.
And this is why I say it's time for people to capitalize now.
Of course.
You know, now is the time. I always say it, now is the time, because you know there's so many people investing in Dominican Republic. Before you know it, everything's going to go up, and then small people are going to be priced out. You know, that's looking to invest. So I always say, try to do it now. You know.
Yes. You have to. Look. Some people say, well, you know, I get nervous about, you know, buying in pre-construction. What if it doesn't finish? What if this? What if that? Fair concern. You have to look at the track record of the builder. And so what I did when I got here, because I know that I understand real estate and I know the business of it, but I'm not Dominican and haven't done business here. You know what I mean? And there's a different business climate in each environment. You know what I mean? And even regions. Yeah, there's different players in the game, right? And so you need to work with somebody who does know. And so we partnered with a builder here, Quacon Construction. That's Luis Thomas Mata. And so he's been building here for 15 years. He's got 2 projects that he completed in Plantation. One in Plantation, which is building 42 in Plantation, and then Puertas del Mar, which is a community housing project that he also completed. He finished 2 projects simultaneously through COVID and was like 8 months late. So, which is phenomenal, because we got projects back in Toronto that still ain't finished yet. You know what I mean? And people are in litigation. So you have to look at the history of what somebody's done to get a sense of, you know, because there's no guarantee of anything, but that at least lets you know that they know what they're doing. Yeah, it gives you peace of mind. Yeah, lets you know what they're doing. So we partnered with the right people. And so, by the way, see the W2Q, the W2. My last name is Walrond, and my business partner Henry Williams Jr. is Williams. So we're the 2 W's, W2, and we partnered with Quacon Construction. So it's a combination of all of us. So our name's on the building. You know, that's where that came from. So yes, you want to make your money on the buy. So anybody who buys with us, you can go and market, check all the comparables. There is no better value, period. Like it's North Coast. You can't get better value than what we're offering.
So let me ask you a question. What's the difference between, you know, your pre-construction opposed to somebody else's pre-construction?
I can't. That's broad, so it depends on.
In terms of, okay, let's just say in terms of like square meters.
Okay. Well, I'm still in square feet, guys. Sorry. I think we all are. So a 1-bedroom is 726 square feet, and we're starting at 161,000.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Show me where you can get that. You know what I mean?
Especially for beachfront.
For beachfront.
Yeah.
2 bedrooms are 1,200 square feet. You know, and those are starting at 270. Show me where you can get that. You know what I mean? Like, show me. Like Atlantic Views is over 400,000. You know what I mean? Like this. You know, and they're going to be nice. That's going to be a nice project. And the 3 bedrooms are 2,000 square feet, starting at 605. Okay. You know what I mean? You know, so it's like I said, price per square foot, you can't beat what we're offering. We know that. Like, and I already know because I'm taking the penthouse personally. Like, I still got to pay for it because I could have sold it and made money on it. Right? So there is a price. You know what I mean? For the unit, it's not free. I am getting a discount. Well, I'm sure but I know that my unit, which is the most expensive unit in the building, you know, which is at 652, I already know that inside of, after we're done, 2 to 3 years, I'm at 1.4, 1.5 all day. Wow. You know what I mean? And another thing you want to learn here about doing business here in the Dominican Republic, if you become a resident, you can refinance your property. You know, and that to me is important. I want to be able to refinance because I want to be able to take my money out, equity out, so I can invest it somewhere else in other investments. Right. And well, I'm never selling my unit. That will stay in my family. You know what I mean? Like this, like that's beachfront.
Yeah.
North Coast Dominican Republic.
Yeah, you can't.
You don't sell that. You keep that. Even if I had to cash flow it down the road. You know what I mean? You don't sell that. So, but it's with one of the things that makes our project unique compared to others is that we have an assignment clause, which means that people can actually sell or flip their units prior to closing. You know what I mean? Like this. In Toronto, a lot of companies make it a business. Like they buy the contract. It's like buying a contract. You know what I mean? You know, so but they bought the rights to the unit at a cheaper price because you know that once the structure is up, the price is the value is going to be higher, and so they may sell just slightly below market. But it's a way that to make certain that they can make their money. Can you?
Life of Bill says, can you explain finance options in the DR? Well, everybody has their own, like every company has their own finance options. So his way might be different opposed to another company. You know what I mean? Like for instance, I have some property over in near the Compressed Sea. They're offering finance options, but they want 75% down, and then they're giving you 6 months to pay the 25%. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So without interest free. So everybody's, they do their finance options differently.
Because you're asking about he was asking about the DR, so I don't know, he wasn't specifically necessarily asking about my project.
Yeah, just in general. Yeah.
Well, in terms of financing, if you're buying a resale, the banks here do take Canadian and U.S. credit, Scotiabank, although from what I understand, sometimes those loans are hard to come by.
Yeah.
There are a lot of private guys here that you can get financing from here. My recommendation is that if you're from the States or Canada and you've got good credit, do it home. Get a home equity line of credit from back home and use that. You got to remember, like what you paid for a property in the United States is like the down payment. The down payment for a property there is the paying for the property outright here. But they do go up to 70% loan to value. 70% loan to value. Here, so you can get financing. I know I'm friends with a couple of the bank managers with Scotia. And so you can get financing. So, but it straight goods, it can be tricky.
And then keep in mind interest rates are low.
Interest rates are higher here. They're higher here, but keep this in mind because some people are worried about if let's just say I take money out of my home in the States or Canada or Europe or wherever, and there's an interest payment that I have to pay on that, and right now the interest rates are higher. I don't know how it works in Europe, but in North America, the interest on when you borrow money for the purpose of investing, the interest portion of that is tax deductible. So you can offset it with taxes. I mean, Canada for sure. Like this, if you're borrowing money for the purpose of investing, the interest portion is tax deductible. So you can reduce your taxable income. But also another thing that's important to note that here in the DR, they don't report earnings to any other place in the world. So if you have taxes, if you have a corporation domiciled here, now again, this is not advice. Talk to your financial advisor. Let's just say that there's tax advantages to investing here. We'll just say that. We'll just say that. And also too, I like the way that they do banking here, man. Banking wires, because you get money both in U.S. and you can use both in U.S. and pesos.
Yeah, me too.
So they deal with both currencies here, which is great. And it's easy to get your hands on U.S. And transferring money, whether money is being transferred out, whether you're wiring money out to somewhere else, or you're receiving wires, you're getting that money same day.
Yeah, it's fast. It's fast. It's very fast. It's very fast. I just actually opened up my account before I came here, because I knew I needed to handle some business and I needed to transfer largest amount of money. And that money transferred so fast, man. I was just like, wow. I didn't realize it transferred that fast. Yeah. And I have a U.S. account, I have a peso account and U.S. dollar account as well. So
and getting a bank account here is very easy. as long as you've got your, I think he was laughing when I talked about what he said.
The tax benefits.
Get your hand out of my pocket, fool. Get your hand out of my pocket. I think that as you're looking, and by the way, again, if you want to come out and check out one of our presentations, just send me the link in the comments.
And I'm going to leave his link in the description box for anybody that's interested in coming out.
But it's very the timing couldn't be better, and particularly with all the crazy stuff that's happening in the United States right now, in Canada, globally, the geopolitical.
It's the uncertainty that scares me.
It just makes it sexier here, and the crazier it gets here, the better it is here.
Yeah.
So because people are moving out, when COVID was here, and because of how heavy-handed the Trudeau government was, in Canada, they said, I believe they said it was almost like 3 or 4% of the country left.
Of what, in Canada?
Yeah, man, they're all over. This is why, in the Dominican Republic, there's 500,000 expats living here.
Wow.
Over half are Canadian.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that many, man.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yes. And
it's continuing to grow.
Oh, every year. So the people they come on vacation, and they're like, here's part of the allure of the Dominican Republic, from my perspective, because I would say, even though my roots are Trinidad and Guyana, Jamaica is kind of like my second home. I love Jamaica, right? Now, here is, in this country, in my experience, is safer. You know what I mean? You can walk any hour of the night in the North Coast, and it's not an issue.
Very safe.
It's a safe place.
Yeah.
I think that in Jamaica, things are way more expensive from a cost of living standpoint. Here, this is and
even building too. The price of materials is almost double. In Jamaica, it's expensive.
It's very, very expensive. So here, it's way less expensive to get to work, and also too, I think that you have from a major city standpoint, Santo Domingo, which is the capital. That city is a cross between Piantini, in particular, is a cross between Toronto and Miami. It's places this is not third world. This is developed. It's developing. You know what I mean? And some of it's nicer than what we got back home. Some of it, and then so we've got two major cities like this, and then in Santo Domingo and Santiago, and then of course you've got the beach communities, which is you've got your outside of your Punta Canas, of course, but you've got your Samana, you've got your Las Arenas, you've got Puerto Plata, Cabarete, Sosua. You got incredible beach, and then you've got countryside like Montellamo and these other areas in the country that are really, really nice. So you got this incredible combination of all things, and I think that one thing that I really appreciate here is the family values, because on Sundays, if you go to the beach, it's all families.
Everybody's there.
Everybody's there with their families.
And if not there, the rivers.
The riverside. Riverside. Yeah. They're very big. What's that?
He says, if Haiti can ever get their act together, that real estate market will be a goal. Did I tell you? We talked about that?
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yesterday.
Well, Haiti's problems are bigger than just Haitians. There's a lot of international players that have created a major mess.
Yep.
Which has created strains between the Dominican Republic and Haiti. That's Western forces that have created that nonsense. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to get into all of it here on this channel, but they've created a hell of a situation, over in Haiti. And some people have actually asked, do you feel the experience of that stuff over on this side? No. It's like two completely separate worlds. Completely. It really is. Over here, everybody's out relaxing, enjoying themselves, having a good time, working, doing whatever. But you don't see or experience that here. They're very tight at the border. So we don't have those experiences here. Although again, my heart goes out for the people of Haiti, though, for real.
For sure.
What's that?
Here's Cuba too. So he's talking about Cuba as well.
Okay, yeah. Well, again, external forces. Sanctions will do it to you. You know what I mean? So again, coming back to the DR, like my daughter when she flies in, because some of you may have kids, and you're worried, and you're thinking I want to relocate, but I got kids. The international schools here are fantastic. They learn multiple languages, so your kids will grow up multilingual between Spanish, French, German, and English.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's a huge German population.
Huge German population.
Yeah, especially in Sosua.
Yes.
They got their own bars and pubs and pretty much.
And Russian.
Yeah,
They got
Russians too.
Yeah. It's a very multicultural place. And when my daughter is here, she's doing surfing lessons. You know what I mean? Like we're doing surfing, and I'm taking surfing lessons too. And it's actually fun. It's actually.
Sure it is. I feel like I'm too big and just the balance and all of that.
Bro. Like no. They give it. No, they have the big board. Like they have the bigger boards for us. You know, because and the bigger the board, the easier it is. You know what I mean? To be able to stand on.
I'm thinking.
And when you're walking out, and then it's an area called Encuentro. And the water that comes up to here, you know what I mean, like this, and so you're not going to drown.
Okay.
You know, and and you're walking out like it feels like almost for a mile out into the water, and it's still the water's still at the same level. So, she's doing that. She's doing salsa and bachata lessons. She's in the gym. She's getting Spanish lessons here. You know what I mean? Like she's having it's a different kind of fun. And then they've got charitable groups here, like the Dream Project, who is doing a lot of phenomenal work. In this country, so the Dream Project, they're doing great work. So there's charitable work you can get involved with. They got communities where they've got sports leagues here. They've got like the soccer and all of that stuff, and and baseball. They've got there's a lot to do and see. They've got there's believe it or not, floor hockey tournaments out here. There's basketball tournaments out here. You can get the baseball games out here. There's a lot more things to do than go to the beach and go to the bar. Like I mean, there's a lot more things to do here than that. So but people just need to explore it. So so to me, when you combine all of those things, yes, you got the catamarans, and you can go out there and go snorkeling, or go to, if you love the nature, the 27 falls.
I've been there.
Yeah, I haven't been down.
I nearly died, man.
My daughter went. I sent her on an excursion.
Died. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, the day I was gonna go, my back was bothering me.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But she sent me back all the footage. It looked fun.
Yeah, it
looked nice.
I made it to like the 7th waterfall.
Yeah.
I couldn't go past that, man. The hike going up, my legs nearly gave out on me, man. Good thing I was working out at the time. If I wasn't, I don't think I would have made it, bro. I wouldn't have made it.
No helicopter rides down. Eh? Yes, and then of course they've got the mountain, you know what I mean, up there, and we got the
cable car,
the cable cars, all of that.
Yeah.
So they've got there's a bunch of fun things to do, you know what I mean, and I love to get out there and do karaoke. Tonight for my birthday, we're all going to watch the UFC fights down at Caesars tonight. We're gonna have some fun down there at Caesars tonight. So it's there's this one of the things that I think was one of the coolest things is when you're walking along the beach and you talk to people, you're hearing every accent, every language. It's like the Tower of Babel, and languages from all over are here.
It's true.
It's good.
And even for me, like going food shopping, you're gonna run into so many different, walks of life, I should say, know, and people are not afraid to say hello, where you from, I get it all the time, and this is how you start meeting people, especially if you're one of those people that's social and worrying about, meeting different people. Trust me, people will come up to you and just start talking,
Oh, and by the way, from a quality of life and standard of life living, so I have somebody who comes and cooks for me, Rose. Shout out to
Rose,
Chef Rosa.
You guys are gonna see. I did a video with Rose, so you guys, I got to promote Rose. She's great. She's great.
Yeah, young Haitian girl who's out here doing her thing. She's cooking. She's been cooking for me for like 2 years, and everything is from scratch.
Yeah.
But one of the things is here, it's inexpensive.
It's a luxury. I think it's a luxury.
It's a luxury,
yes.
but doesn't cost you luxury prices as it would back home.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so you can support them here like this, and with their lifestyle, while you're getting that king and queen treatment here. It's a beautiful thing. So just to give you a sense of the difference in prices, for those people who like the nightlife and want to go and buy a bottle of something, right? Bottles in Toronto are expensive.
Yeah.
I went to the club one night and they said, I think it was a bottle of Absolute. I think it was like $80 or $90, something like that. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
That it?
You're gonna pay 150 in New York, 150, 200 for bottle service in New York. Yeah.
So so I said, I'll take two. You know what I mean? It's just the cost of living is just way, way cheaper, man. So I just think from an overall lifestyle standpoint, it's a great place, and and the culture is nice, and and you meet people from all over the world. It's a great overall experience. So I think overall, Dominican Republic is a great place to invest, depending on your strategy. And for one, I don't think that this is a place where you buy and flip. I mean, you can, but for me, this is a long-term hold, and you want to hold for at least 10 years. You know what I mean? And
well, not unless you get an offer that you can't refuse.
Well, I mean, hey,
and that was my situation, guys. I never got a chance to tell my viewers, only because internet has been bad, and I just haven't been able to do a full live without being choppy. But I got 2 offers on my house. I got 2 offers. Oh yeah. So I'm selling.
Okay.
I'm selling as is. They're buying it as is, bro.
Well, hey man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
They're buying it as is. So yeah. But go ahead. I don't want to take over.
No problem, bro. It's all good. I'm gonna give you all an internet hack here. This is what you do. See how we're doing this right now?
And he taught me too. So now I know.
So you need to get a Dominican phone or get a Dominican SIM, right? I get this right. And so on this one, I'll just say Claro. I mean, they because it's been working well for me. We're tethering right now off of this phone. So I have my Canadian phone and I'm using my WhatsApp, and I got my Dominican phone, right, like this, and I tether off of this, and that because sometimes the reception from the Canadian phone isn't great. You know what I mean? And Freedom Mobile. So, so it's less expensive though. So at least I have a phone that I can use, and I keep my Canadian numbers. But I've got my Dominican phone here, and that's what's allowing us to do this. And so I usually roll with 2 phones just so that
I have an international calling plan with this phone, and you only get a certain amount of gigabytes, and then once that's used up, it just starts slowing down.
Well, what you should do is get I would excuse me, get the cheapest plan you can on that, and then just tether off of Dominican phone, because that's way cheaper.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like this. So get the cheap plan, use WhatsApp on your home phone, and then use it so if somebody's calling you direct.
Yeah, I think I'm going to change the internet because it's not working for me.
Yeah, reduce it and then just tether, and you're good.
Okay.
So yeah, man. So you're getting all the remember I told you getting nuggets.
So we want to talk about your project. So how many units do you have, and how many have you sold so far? For those who are interested.
Yeah, we've got 38 units in total, 11 of which have been sold, and counting, because we got a couple of people right now just working on their financing and getting their finances together. And what we'll do is, if anybody who's watched this program and you come out to one of our information sessions, again, just let us know in the comments. Hey, send me the link. Just let him so he knows. And
make sure you send me the link. That way
you can post it in there.
Yeah.
For anybody who buys through this channel, just say that you were with Jay Day, the Traveler, like this, and then you will get a 5% discount on list price across the board. You know what I mean? For anybody who buys through this channel, like this. All right. So so just let us know that Jay sent you, and good to go. So with our project, I think one of the things sometimes people are concerned with, man, I don't have all the money myself. You can team up with other people. You know what I mean? You can pull resources, put money together. 100% of zero is zero. You know, like this. Pair up. If 3 people got 50 grand, you know what I mean? 60 grand. You know, if 3 people got 60 grand. Hey, let's team up and let's do something. You can do that. And if you want us to try to connect you with other people who may not have had the full amount, you can connect with us as well, and we can. We're not taking responsibility, but we can connect you. You know what I mean? Also too. Part of our intention with what we're doing is we want, because our building is unique in that we're a 5-star build. in our area, the Ritz is actually coming into the La Boca area, which is very close to us.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff. The Ritz, yeah, you heard me. The Ritz is coming, and so that's going to help us. That's going to help drive values as well. But there's a lot of building that's coming up in our area, and so if you're looking for best value, there's no better place you can get. We're going to have 2 elevators, and why is that important? Because you'd be surprised at how many 4-story buildings in this country that have 0 elevators. we're gonna have 2.
Nice.
Like this, a fully accessible place for everybody. And so if you got knee issues, don't worry about it. We got you. And now for the cash flow perspective, we are going to be managing and running all of that for all of the buyers, all of it essentially run. So, and it's a 70-30 split at the end. So you get to sit back and just collect. We manage and run everything on your behalf.
And tell me the reason why you guys want, I mean, I like what you told me, but let the viewers know why
we have to run it centrally because of quality control. We're running a 5-star facility, 5-star finishing. It's high quality what we're building. It's a luxury build. Is what we're building. It's not, and there's a big difference between 3-star and 5-star. There's a big difference between those, and so we need quality control, and so customer service issues because it can affect everybody's money. You know what I mean? And so so we make certain that it's all centrally run. You can expect a net return each year of between 8 to 12%. Between 8 to 12% per year on cash flow, cash on cash returns. That's net. That's after expenses. Somebody say, well, what are other expenses? Your net, which is all you need. We'll go through in the presentation how the whole breakdown works, all of that kind of stuff. And we have full packages that we can send to you that will give you more insights, no problem at all. But your net is between 8 to 12. And then you're looking at a market value increase. Well, through construction, we're saying 20% per year in terms of growth on your money. And after and post construction, be about 10 to 15. You know what I mean? But let's just say it was 10% per year, and you were making 10% per year cash on cash. That's 20% per year. And I'll tell you this right now. I mean, you need to be invested in real estate. And this is not for fear mongering. This is just being real with you. There's something big stirring in the banking world, and if you've never looked into it, I want you to go and Google a term called bail-in. You've got bailouts. I want you to look up bail-ins. The money that you have on deposit in the bank is unsecured money. It's an unsecured loan to the bank. Should there be a banking challenge like this, somebody say, I'm covered. Well, I got insurance. Okay. The question is, if you look at the amount of funding that the insuring bodies have, can they cover all of those accounts if there was a catastrophe? You know what I mean? Like it's just a question. Just a question. So so you need, from my perspective, not financial advice, you need real estate, you need gold, silver, and you need Bitcoin. You need some cryptocurrency. You know what I mean? You need to have that stuff off system. You know what I mean? So if you have crypto, you need to have it on one of those little ledgers or keep it offline, because there are some interesting things that, from what I understand, are coming like this. And so you need to be prepared for it. So you want to have your money in hard assets. You already see how gold over the last few years has gone from 2,000. I remember it was 1,800 just a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? And it's going to go way higher.
Yeah.
Same thing with silver. And silver, it's greater value on the upside.
Let me tell you about the gold. I have one of my colleagues. She's in her, I think she's in her 60s. She just retired. And she's got gold from the 80s. And she told me, she's like, one of the things that I always said that I was going to invest in is gold. She says she's got so much gold, and when the value went up, she cashed out on just a couple of pieces. And she's like, I got so much of it. And she's just like, the value of gold, man, is just
yes. And listen, and when I say buy gold, and by the way, I'm talking about using that as your savings account. So the money that you would have had in the bank. So whether you're having it in your house or you're using, there are broker dealers that are insured. You know what I mean? Like this, you can have it in one of their vaults as long as it's serial numbered and insured and legal and all of that. you can leverage gold. You can borrow against it. It's an asset. You know what I mean? So if you need to go and get something, you can get leverage on it if you need to. You can liquidate gold or silver anytime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She goes to the
Because some people say,
pawn
"Well, I'm
shops.
traveling. I can't be walking with gold." No problem. There are broker dealers that you can get that are international. Some that can even convert to crypto. You know what I mean? You know. But you need to have your hands on some of that for sure. So, but real estate, so projects like ours, you need to put money in this type of stuff. This is what makes sense. Real estate, you know, they're not building any more land, you know, and here, and then the amount of beachfront property that's available
is becoming slim to none now.
Hey, greetings from the Philippines. How you doing?
Oh, Ella Pot. Hey, Ella.
So hey, listen, get to the DR, man. Come check us out. You know, so so this is all a part of Sound Money. But the reason I was making a point earlier that I had forgotten. So we've intentionally kept our prices low because we want people to make money with us, because we know that you make money with us today on this deal, when we're doing something else, well, not only will you come, you'll bring your friends and family.
Exactly.
And so we don't have to do as much marketing next time around. So, you know,
it speaks for itself.
Yeah, 100%. So we want to build long-term relationships. That's what we're here for.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's exciting times. Listen. You want to get in on the boom here in the DR.
And this is why I'm selling my property, because, you know, somebody once told me, don't ever get attached to real estate, you know, don't ever get attached. So, and I really, cause it took me 3 years to do my project, you know? But now when I got these 2 offers, I was just like, I was scratching my head. I
have never been to your place, and I don't know this. I don't know your situation. So everybody's situation is different.
Right.
I would get residency and refinance and take money and then go and do other stuff I need to do, just simply because I don't think these prices are going to exist again. But I know you have other plans with other properties. And
right. I got some other projects going on.
So if you're going to do it, just make sure you have a sound plan. Because, you know, the reason I cashed out is because I knew interest rates were going up. You know what I mean? And I knew the prices, we were going to lose the opportunity to take advantage of 30 to 40% of the equity in our properties. So, you know, so that was, and so I was like, you know, and it was, and so said, so done. And so I was able to now, you know, start picking up elsewhere. And I think that the damage that's been done in Canada, it's going to take a decade to repair that. The government, our government, the Trudeau government, destroyed our country. And I mean that literally. I mean, we've had more people going to food banks and all that kind of crazy stuff we've never seen in Canada. Like it's like, this is Canada. Like,
wow.
what country is this? It's I can't believe what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? And so, at any rate, so here in the DR, there's an opportunity to make up for any losses that maybe you took somewhere else. You know what I mean? And come in, but you need a good lawyer here. We have a phenomenal lawyer. You have to, because real estate can be very tricky down here. A lot of people selling land that they don't own.
Right.
There's this thing called there's this thing called desalinda. You know what I mean? That you got to make certain. No, don't sell fake titles. You know what I mean? So you need to get that desalinda to make certain. But a good lawyer, you need a very good lawyer. You know, down here, which I have. Shout outs to Nadeli Martinez. That's our girl. She's amazing. Would never do business with anybody but her. She is amazing. Our builder, Luis Mata, he's doing great. He's done great work, and he's going to do great work for us. And so we're in phenomenal hands. You know, it's just important. Well, for me, I needed a builder that could speak English. You know what I mean? And lawyers that could speak English, because the translation thing can be tricky.
It's very important.
So mine do both. You know, but
my lawyer speaks English too.
And
German.
Amen. You know, so you know, being able to communicate is critical. And I think in terms of, you know, just come down and you have to come and get your feel. Everybody's different, and everybody's got different needs. And you know, there's real opportunity here. W2Q, I believe we are the best value in town. And W2QBeachfront.com also you can check out. And
as I said, sorry to cut you off. And as I said, I already did a pre-recorded video with Noel. Just first, you took me to what was that other property? Just so that
Oh
they
yes,
could,
yes. The hotel called Millennium.
Yeah,
Millennium
yeah.
Hotel in Cabarete. So I think I kicked this thing here. So, did I kick that?
No,
Okay,
no.
there we go. Okay, yeah. So this hotel called the Millennium. It's very similar setup. So you've got the 4 stories. You got 10-foot ceiling to floor windows. You got the balcony on the sides. And then so people can see
See the
ocean. Second floor and above, you got views of the ocean, and you've got the infinity pool overlooking the ocean, and you've got a little restaurant there on the side there.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're also going to have our power generators are for the entire building. That is not always the case here, by the way. Sometimes power generators are just for the common areas, I guess, and you're on your own. So I lived when I was in Puerto Plata, near the Malecon. There's a condos there. They had generators for the hallways, but it didn't power our apartments.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like this, yeah. And so when that internet would go up for 7 or 8 hours, bruh. So so we're having generators for the entire building. You know what I mean? So we're not going to be without power. So yes.
Jay Mullings. I don't want to skip Ella Pot. She said, "Yes, hello. How are you guys? Love watching your live, especially when the topic is about business and real estate. I appreciate you, Ella." Jay Mullins, 187, currently in Toronto and have an apartment and business in Punta Plata. On the fence about selling my Canadian home. Would you suggest selling and investing in DR with the plan to live there full time?
Yes. Again, not financial advice, but I would cut my losses in Canada. It's not just the hit that we took; it's the taxes, man. Now if it's your primary residence, obviously there's no. If it's your primary residence, there's no tax on capital gains on your primary residence. So when I cashed out one of my properties, the one I lived in, there was no taxes to pay on that. That was great.
Nice.
So I would absolutely, for me, I'm doing it now. You know what I mean, like this. And so, yes, the short answer is yes. If you want to connect with me again, and can I leave a phone number, or should I just want to leave a link? Or
if you want to leave your number, we'll leave the link. We'll
leave a link.
Yeah.
Okay, so they can reach out and connect. Because WhatsApp, by the way, if you're connected with me, WhatsApp is the best way to do it. But. Yeah, no, I would certainly. To me, the short answer is yes. The Canadian environment is also, even if you're trying to do rentals, it's not homeowner friendly; it's renter friendly. And so some people can come and squat in your house and be there, be there with that nonsense. I have so many friends who are in tears, man. Like this they've had somebody living in their house for over a year, not paying rent,
and
can't get them out,
and you end up losing your house only because
it's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah.
Listen,
and that doesn't happen here. They get you out quick. They don't play that here in the Dominican Republic. You are out fast.
Yeah, and this. No, if you should, I agree with the guy. Nomad capitalist. He says go where you're treated best. The Dominican government wants your money.
Yes, they do.
They want your business, so they treat you nicer. It's simple. In Toronto to be more in Toronto. Yeah, I'm from Toronto. Yes, and so most definitely, for me. The answer would be yes. Listen, by the way, if you DM or message him directly right now, he can put you in direct contact with me.
For sure.
That's Mr. JD, the Traveler.
Yeah.
Or just put it into the comment section. Send me a link.
Right.
Send me the link.
I'm gonna put his link in the description box once the live is over.
Okay.
All right.
So you're good.
Salute. How are the lenders you're working with? What's the expected HOA fees?
The HOA fees are on a 1-bedroom or $195 a month, $295 for a 2-bedroom, $395 for a 3-bedroom. In terms of you said how are the lenders to working with? Again, lenders with us. Okay, just based on our payment structure. Over the course, depending on how you're making your payments, hell, it's on our website, so I'll just say it. So it's $10,000 with the promise of sale agreement, 20% within the first 30 days, another 20% within 6 months, and another 20% 6 months from then. So 60% in the first year. After the first payment, you could also make monthly payments if you want to. Like, we can structure it however, whatever way is most convenient for you. That's fine. But on the balance of 40% is due on closing. The balance of 40% is due on closing. So getting financing with the bank, we can take you to the banks down here and get you pre-approved. You know what I mean? But you have to maintain your credit at that level. You know what I mean? So no inquiries and all that kind of stuff, because you get closer to it, you got to maintain it. But we can get pre-approvals. But you're talking about financing 40%, which is a lot easier to get. So if you need to finance that. Also, too, remember, you do have the assignment clause, so you can flip your unit. And when the unit is built, if you're not in a position to, say, close, you can sell it. You know what I mean? Some people may not be in a position to do that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish it.
So if with our project, 60% is the part that you need to have. That's your obligation, because the 40% is due on closing, and you can get financing. And whether you're getting financing and you're using it back home, or whether you're getting private lending here, which we can connect you with private lenders here as well, or you're using institutional money like this, like the Scotias or the Bank Reservis or Banco Popular, there are financing options available on the balance of the 40%. Interest rates are higher. Current rates, because they may change, you know what I mean? But you're looking at between 8 and 12%, you know what I mean? So it's better to get financing back home if you can. But again, if you're renting out your property, I just want you to keep this in mind, and you set up a corporation down here, the corporate tax rate here is 27%, like this. And so and of course you can create expenses, right? Like you've got expenses, so you can bring that taxable amount down. And so if you get your taxable income down to 17 to 18%, 19%, I mean, you're doing all right. You know what I mean? And so I wouldn't worry too much about the higher interest rate, because you can offset it. And then, of course, with the market value increase that you're getting on the property in and of itself, and cash flow, you know what I mean? If you're renting it out, I mean, hey, so like you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, also you can always. I mean, there's ways of getting around it, especially if you already have investment properties here. You can always use your property as collateral to borrow. You can
only as a non-resident.
No, well, yeah, as a non-resident, even with Ben Reservis,
Okay.
With Ben Reservis,
see, I just learned something today too.
With Ben Reservis, you can.
Okay. Okay. So there you go. You know what I mean? So even more options for you. You know what I mean? But I recommend everybody, as long as if you buy a house for over 200,000 or want a condo with us for over 200,000, our prices start at 161. If you're over 200,000, you can get residency fast tracked here. You know what I mean? You get residency fast track. And I think that particularly for those of us from the Western world, it's smart to have residency in another country. If any crazy stuff starts happening, it's good to have another option.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, my roots are Caribbean, so I have 2 passports already. I'm a CARICOM member already, because of my second passport. You know what I mean? That I have. So, but I think that, and my same thing for my daughter. You need to have you need to have the ability to move if you need to. So, I think that for another reason, I think, and I'll tell you this too. One thing that I liked about here, because obviously I was in COVID mindset, and you remember when there was all that crazy stuff and the rush to the grocery stores and the rush on all that stuff. Here, this is a big exporter country. They're not a big importer country. So so in terms of food supply, most of the food is grown here. Most of it is grown here. So it makes a lot more sense here. Like, I like the sustainability, and just because of power and stuff like that, either you have your generator in most places. You're gonna, if you're buying a home, you're gonna have a generator, solar panels, and all of that. So you become a sort of a sustainable situation just by virtue of being here, because you're living in the Caribbean. And so, and one thing I'll also say is that the food here it's much closer to source. There's far less processing.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Without a doubt.
You know, so it's great.
Yeah. I mean, what about you? I can eat something and within the next few hours, I'm not feeling weighed down, you know, like, oh, I can't move, what we call back home the itis. You know, I don't get that here, man. I just don't get it. And I'm regular. Yeah. I'm regular. I am, you know, with no. He said it goes to show you, like the food and stuff.
Makes a difference.
It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference.
And I'll tell you something else. Healthcare here is.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
It is phenomenal.
Oh, see.
So I had. Some people think you're in third world, bruh. Let me tell you something. You don't want to get sick in Toronto because when you go to the hospital, it is a mission. You're there for a day and a half. You know what I mean? Just to get seen by somebody.
But they're like, oh, it's free healthcare. It's free.
It's not free. Them taxes that we get taxed, I would rather just buy my own insurance policy. You know what I mean? Like it's a healthcare policy. But what's the difference? You know what I mean? Like it's for the amount of money we pay in tax in Canada, particularly Ontario, Canada. Oh my God, are you kidding? You in America, y'all live charmed living. Canada, Ontario is a different situation.
And we complaining about we be complaining, but the healthcare system.
No, y'all would be in the street in the United States. You know what I mean? Y'all would be bent in the United States. Now, I would rather but that's for people who haven't bought a health insurance plan for themselves. It's a couple $100 a month. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? To take care of it, and it's less expensive here. You know what I mean? So but I'm in and out of the hospital in an hour. Procedures that I would have had to wait weeks for or months for back home, I'm getting next day. You know what I mean here? Like this, man, please give me this all day. All day. And now I'm not saying that, well, first of all, you got people dying regardless to what country you're in. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And people die in hospitals every day. You know what I mean? No matter what country you're in. But here I will say that my experience thus far, and I can only speak to my, and it's not just here, like even in Jamaica where they've got private health, I've been to the hospital there. It's way better for me because you're never in the hospital for more than an hour and a half. You in and you are out. That's it. And they tell you what you need, boom, 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 done. Now
and then the prescriptions, you go right to the pharmacy and get whatever you need with without,
Yes. And you said to talk about the good and the bad, right?
Yeah, the pros and the cons.
So one of the cons here, you got to be careful about eating the salads when you're at restaurants because sometimes they wash with the local water. They wash the local water.
Yeah,
man.
I've never had that problem, and I love the salads.
I've
had that problem.
I've had an amoeba parasite, and I've had E. coli. And I would tell you, 4 days in the hospital, bro. Like this, and the I would tell you that you just need, like, for me, that's part of the reason that I have Rose cooking for me all the time. I don't eat out a lot. That's not to say you're gonna, like, I mean, there are some very good restaurants here, and but I ask because I don't care, because some people think, do you feel like you're offending somebody? I don't care because it's my body. So I will ask. I said, what are you washing the lettuce with? You know what I mean? Are you using vinegar? Are you using? They have a special type of bleaching thing that they use or whatever. And you know what I mean? And so as long as you're using those things, fine. So I know in Sosua, Cabarete, I know the restaurants that are great. Yeah. To where you can go to and you're fine. But it's something where be careful with that because but if you ever are here and you ever get a little bit sick, ivermectin is your lifesaver. It's $6. You get like 6 tablets. It came from they use it a lot in Africa and India.
Okay. What's the name of it?
It's called ivermectin.
Ivermectin.
Yeah, okay. Ivermectin was popular because during COVID, in fact, in your country, I'll just say that, like this, some places were trying to block it. You know what I mean. But but ivermectin is that's during COVID, because if you take it, the early signs of COVID, you know what I mean. That along with supplements, you got rid of it quick. So the ivermectin is a very powerful thing. So $6, and there's and you can get it over the counter here. It's no problem. Oh, wow. And so you should carry that. So if you're feeling any kind of squeamishness in the stomach for whatever, it may not be a thing. It may just be a stomach. The food didn't agree with you, whatever. Ivermectin, good, perfecto. Excellent. So, were there any other?
No, it's Shawanda. Hey, Miss Shawanda. Shout out to Miss Shawanda. So we are an hour and 15 minutes in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. See, time flies.
Time went quick. Yeah. Well, look. I'll just say this. The Dominican Republic is a beautiful country, and I think that it's one of the most beautiful countries that you can come to. And if you're looking, if you're looking at, for example, our project W2Q in the North Coast and East Cabarete, if you're looking for a great investment, or you're looking for places to come and relocate to. I didn't mention shuttle service. Because we're a 3-minute drive into downtown, so we have shuttle service, which is included in HOA.
That's nice. That's nice.
Shuttle service. We have a gym too. We have a little gym on site too. Okay. Yeah. So like this. So all these little things. But if you're looking at wanting a situation where you want good cash flow and managed for you, you're just looking for a place to land bank. And hey, man, you know what? I'll grab a couple of units, but I'm going to flip 3 of them before closing, because I may not be in a position to close on those were the ones, but I want to get I want to take advantage of the opportunity of the market value increase and buying. Making money on the buy, then look no further than us and get in contact. We are going to be having an information session online, and J-Day is going to put my contact details here in the description, and so you can reach out and, hey man, come check it out. And if what we're doing isn't for you, but you want to get some guidance, I can plug you into other real estate people here who actually know what they're doing, because. One thing also to know that at the moment you don't need a real estate license to sell real estate.
That's going to change.
It's going to, but in the moment that's the case, and so not everybody necessarily knows what they're doing and knows what they're talking about, and you want to make certain that you are best guided. Just as one example, because we don't get the heavy hurricane stuff here, we get rain. We get rain, and we can get some flooding in certain areas. You need to know that you're not buying in a flood zone. Yeah. You know what I mean? And sometimes they're not going to tell you. They're not going to get in the conversation. They're not going to.
or whether or not the land has water access or electricity. And then you got to spend money to run electrical lines and all that stuff. So all that stuff is important.
100%
when you're purchasing land. In Dominican Republic.
Absolutely,
sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm saying that if you would like me to guide you in terms of the best folks to connect with who are genuine, who know what they're doing, and are and so that you can avoid the headaches, great, and also to understanding the permitting process here and all of that. That's also another journey in and of itself. So it's a beautiful country, great opportunity. If you're serious about creating intergenerational wealth, I think this is one of the best places you can start, and also a place that you can have for legacy, because this place is just phenomenal, gorgeous, and 90% of the year the weather is good. Our rainy season is October and November. October and November is the rainy season, but beyond that, it is sunny most of the time. Listen, I'll tell you, there's a reason why it's the number 1 tourist destination in the Caribbean. 10 million people last year, guys. 10 million, and 11 more expected. And that's how we also know on the cash flow side that people are going to do very well, because tourism in the North Coast. And the last thing I'll say is this to you: the president of the Dominican Republic, Luis, he is from the North Coast, from Puerto Plata. And because the reason why most people think Punta Cana is because there was a group that came 30 years ago. It was Puerto Plata that was the spot, And then when Luis came into power, which is right before COVID, he, being from Puerto Plata, wanted to see a renaissance, and so he started to redirect resources to the north. And so that's why you've seen this complete explosion of growth that's taken place. Yeah. And so thank you, Luis. He's given us all one heck of an opportunity. So do not sleep on DR. Do not sleep on W2Q. Come and join our family. Come and get some information. Love to connect with you. Love to get to know you. And again, my name is Noel Wellrun, and I want to thank Jay. This has been a great interview, and what a way to kick off my.
I'm gonna have to have you back on, bro. I'm gonna have to have you back. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, this is a great way to kick off my birthday. Today.
Happy birthday too.
Muchas gracias, mi hermano. Hey, listen, it should be cumpleaños.
Yeah. I'm working on it. I speak Spanglish.
And if you want to learn Spanish, my teacher Melanie, is phenomenal. She's Canadian, Chilean.
Okay.
But she if you want to learn online or come, because I go to meet with her in Encuentro for classes, but she also does it online. Phenomenal. Nice. If I had known her since the beginning, from I got here, I'd be fluent. Yeah.
So maybe I might need to take some classes with her then. I mean, I've taken basic Spanish, beginners, and conversational, but we're talking about, I'm 45 years old.
Well, I just turned 53, bro. So I don't know what you're talking about. Come on, young buck.
Future Wealth Films, what's going on, brother? Oh man, listen, I enjoyed the interview. We about to close out, guys. For those of you guys that are just coming in, y'all gonna have to go back and catch this interview from the beginning. But I appreciate all the love and support, guys. I'm gonna try to make do some more videos, lives if I can before I leave out of here. I got about a little over 3 more weeks before I leave. Yeah. So maybe we can link up again and do another interview. If you guys want to see another interview from Noel, man, let me know and we'll make it happen. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Guys, a true pleasure. Blessings. Have an awesome day. Don't sleep. Investigate. Don't make the mistake of saying next year. No, you don't want to pay.
The time is now.
You don't want to pay tomorrow's prices, but you want today's prices.
Yeah.
So you can take advantage of that 20%. Well, depending on what you're buying, 15 to 20% per year increase, depending on where you are. Take advantage of it here. Let's go.
All right, guys. Boom. Don't forget to hit the like, the share, and subscribe. Until then, guys, I'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.